Okay, well, we didn't sing Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Koramori. We sang Jai Radha Madhava, but never mind. Reading from Chaitanya Caritamrita. I have it on my Kindle. It's Adi Lila, Chapter 1, Text 101. Which is just coming to the end of the first chapter. You can do it. We can do phrase à phrase, pas. Comme ça, j'apprends un peu de français. Okay. Hey Chandra Surya Duri Paramasadaya Jagatera Bhagye Gode Karilai Hudaya. A. Repeat. These. Chandra. Moon. Surya. What does Surya mean? Savadaya Surya. The sun, le soleil. C'est le roi du soleil. Il s'appelle Surya. Okay. Dui. Two. Yeah. Deux. Okay, I'll leave the French to you. I'll just speak English. Parma. Very. Sadaya. Kind. Jagatera. Of the people of the world. Bhagye. For the fortunate. Gode. In the land of Goda. Karila. Did. Udaya. Appear. Oh, it's appearance. Oh, translation. These two, the sun and moon. Yeah, he has to say in French also. Are very kind to the people of the world. Thus, for the good fortune of all, they have appeared on the horizon of Bengal. So who is he referring to? Very good. They are compared to the sun and moon. Okay, Prabhupada's purport. The celebrated ancient capital of the Sena dynasty, which was known as Gauda Desh, was situated in what is now the modern district of Malda. The modern district of Malda. Malda is like a Bengali name. Malda. Later, this capital was transferred to the 9th or central island on the western side of the Ganges at Navadvip. Where it is transferred to Navadvip. And now it is now known as Mayapur. And it was then called Gaudapur. Yeah, maintenant c'est Mayapur. Avant c'était Gaudapur. Lord Chaitanya appeared there. And Lord Nityananda came there. And joined him from the district of Birbhum. I think that's Lord Chaitanya was born in Birbhum, I think. Okay. They appeared on the horizon of Gaudadesh to spread the science of Krishna consciousness. It is predicted that as the sun and moon gradually move west, the movement they began 500 years ago will come to the Western civilizations by their mercy. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu drive away the 5 kinds of ignorance of the conditioned souls. That's us. C'est nous. That is us, the conditioned souls. So Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda have come to drive away our 5 kinds of ignorance. So now Prabhupada is going to describe what are these 5 kinds of ignorance. Number 1, accepting the body to be the self. And number 2 is making material sense gratification one's standard of enjoyment. And number 3, being anxious due to material identification. And number 4 is lamenting. And number 5 is thinking that there is anything beyond the absolute truth. Yeah, number 5 is thinking that there is something beyond the absolute truth. It's like when you think, oh yes, there's Krishna consciousness, but there are many other things. There's other things in the world, there are other, there are other philosophies, other ideologies, other cultures. But actually there isn't anything but Krishna and the manifestation of Krishna. The teachings of Lord Chaitanya eradicate these 5 kinds of ignorance. Whatever one sees or otherwise experiences, one should know to be simply an exhibition of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's energy. Everything is a manifestation of Krishna. So why does Krishna manifest this world? Why? Yes. So Chitra answered the question. It's because we have material desires. It is not because Krishna likes to create the material world. He has more interesting things to do. He doesn't create it personally, he outsources it to Mahavishnu. That was discussed a little bit yesterday because we were celebrating the appearance of Advaita Acharya, who is Mahavishnu, and he creates the universes. The seeds of the universe. So we are in one of these universes. And to be in the universe and to be able to tolerate it and to be able to fulfill our desires, it's necessary to be covered by these material consciousness in these five kinds of material consciousness, or 5 divisions of material consciousness. We know that Srila Prabhupada was here in this material world, but he never lost his spiritual consciousness. But this is an unusual case. It's an unusual. It's said the pure devotee is very rare. And most souls, the great majority of souls, are conditioned by these 5 kinds of ignorance. So we have these kinds of ignorance, and so then the question comes, which Prabhupada answers in the purport, is how to get out of this ignorance, and then how to get out of the material world altogether. Prabhupada says the teachings of Lord Chaitanya eradicate these 5 kinds of ignorance. So that is why every day we get up early and we take a bath and we put on clean clothes and we come to the temple room and we bow down to Gaura Nitai and we celebrate festivals. I think it's the 3rd of February, which is very soon.
Next Friday.
Friday, thank you. This is the Vaishnav calendar personified.
So since yesterday was Advaita, that means next Friday will be Nityananda.
If you need to know anything,
Next Friday, big festival.
anything about any Vaishnav festivals or events, Vishnu Janananda, has the information that we need. So the reason we do these things, and the reason that we take prasadam, and we go out to distribute books, and we preach to people that come to the castle, and we preach to the people who visitors come to the castle, and we preach to them. We preach to the volunteers, and we take care of the cows. We grow flowers and we grow vegetables. So we do all these things for the pleasure of Lord Chaitanya, for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. And that will liberate us from these 5 kinds of ignorance. So it's a very holistic process, because it's practical and it's simultaneously very spiritually elevating. So we get to live in a community, we have friends, and we have something to do that's useful, and we have nice engagement in terms of singing and dancing, and doing such things as decorating the deities, very creative activities. Chitra's making garlands, which is all very nice kinds of engagement. People, devotees are engaged in sattvic activities, which means activities in the mode of goodness, like milking the cow, or picking flowers for garlands, or whatever. And then we get to eat the remnants of Krishna's meals. On mange les restes des repas du Seigneur. So it's my point I'm making is it is practical. We're engaged in a process of purification, but at the same time it's practical. We have a community, we have engagement, we have so many things, nice things to do. And at the end of our life we can look forward to spiritual elevation, if not going back to Godhead. So this is all the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, and we only have to agree to cooperate. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a description of Lord Brahma creating the material world. Because Mahavishnu creates the universes, but within each universe, Lord Brahma creates the planets and the bodies of the living entities. So that's like a lower level, or it's called Vishaga. The first creation is called Saga. So there's two kinds of creation. Yeah, there's creation of the universes by Mahavishnu, and then the secondary creation is the creation of the planets inside the universe. So that's Lord Brahma. So I'm just going to read a little bit about this because part of his service, creating the bodies of the living entities, is that he has to create the coverings of the living entities, coverings of ignorance. So Prabhupada described the 5 coverings in the purport in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which we just read. But here in the Bhagavatam, it describes 5 coverings, but they're described differently. But they obviously parallel to what Prabhupada says. It's obviously a different way of expressing the same information. It's not that everything is just robotically repeated, but things. But sometimes things are explained a little differently. Because Vedic literature is not stagnant, it is not dry. So things are explained in different ways at different times, and different, often in poetic ways or using very nice analogies. So it's very pleasing to the heart to read the information. It's not like reading a computer printout or something, or a bank statement. It's not boring. Vedic literature is very enlivening. It's another one of our pleasing activities that we perform, is reading. And by reading we associate with the previous acharyas and Srila Prabhupada, we associate with pure devotees. Okay, I just read the verse. This is a verse from the Bhagavatam. First of all, Brahma created from his shadow the coverings of ignorance of the conditioned souls. They are 5 in number and are called, now these are 5 Sanskrit names. Yeah. Tamishra, Andatamishra, Tamas, Moha, and Maha Moha. So I'm going to read the purport slowly and then you can. The conditioned souls, or the living entities who come to the material world to enjoy sense gratification, are covered in the beginning by 5 different conditions. The first condition is a covering of tamishra, or anger. Constitutionally, each and every living entity has minute independence, ampatipur independence. It is a misuse of that minute independence for the conditioned soul to think that he can also enjoy. He thinks he can enjoy like the Supreme Lord. Why shall I not be a free enjoyer like the Supreme Lord? This is forgetfulness of his constitutional position. It is due to anger
c'est dû à la colère,
or envy.
à l'envie, ou à
So this is the root of the problem, huh?
c'est la racine du problème.
That we are envious that Krishna is enjoying.
Parce qu'il prend le plaisir, c'est lui qui prend le plaisir.
And he's standing there enjoying, you can see.
Et on voit,
Somebody's gone to a lot of endeavor to dress him very nicely.
c'est joliment, magnifiquement,
He's with Radharani, who's the personification of
la personnification
his enjoying potency.
de sa potentialité de plaisir.
He's wearing a nice garland and a turban with flowers. Somebody has just brought him a very nice breakfast.
C'est quand même passé, ça.
So he's enjoying.
Donc il profite, c'est comme plaisir.
But we are only the servant.
Mais on est seulement le serviteur.
The living entity,
Et l'entité vivante,
being a part and parcel servitor of the Supreme Lord,
les parts et les parcelles des serviteurs du Seigneur suprême,
can never,
ne peuvent jamais,
by constitution,
par leur position constitutionnelle,
be an equal enjoyer with the Lord.
prendre du plaisir comme le Seigneur.
Yeah. So that is the fact.
C'est un fait.
We are constitutionally the servant,
Constitutionnellement, on est les serviteurs.
and he's constitutionally the boss.
Il est constitutionnellement le patron.
Okay, so when we forget this
Quand on oublie ça,
and try to become one with him,
et quand on essaie de faire un avec lui,
his condition is called tamishra.
cette condition est appelée Tanishra.
Even in the field of spiritual realization,
Et même sur la plateforme de la réalisation spirituelle,
this tamishra mentality of the living entity
c'est quand cette mentalité Tanishra de l'entité vivante
is hard to overcome.
est vraiment difficile à surmonter.
In trying to get out of the entanglement of material life,
En essayant de s'échapper de cet emprisonnement matériel,
there are many who want to become one with the
il y a
Supreme.
beaucoup qui veulent devenir un avec le Seigneur.
People think, well,
Les gens pensent,
I cannot be God,
tu ne peux pas être Dieu,
but at least I can merge with
mais au
him.
moins je peux m'immerger en lui.
That is better than being his servant.
C'est mieux que d'être serviteur.
You know, I have to give up my individuality, but at least I don't have to serve.
Mon individualité, mais au moins je ne vois pas ça.
I merge into this light.
Faire un avec le Seigneur.
So even in transcendental activity,
Même dans l'activité transcendantale,
this mentality of tamishra continues.
cette mentalité Tanishra continue.
It's envy.
C'est envie. C'est l'envie.
So the Mayavadis who advocate this merging,
Donc les Mayavadis essayent d'appliquer, de faire un avec le Seigneur,
they are envious.
parce qu'ils sont envie.
They seem like very spiritual, you know, spiritual personalities, but actually it's envy. Mayavad is envy of Krishna. Okay, the next one. Anda Tamishra involves considering death to be the ultimate end.
Donc là, c'est considérer que la mort est la fin de tout.
Tout est fini, hein? Tout est fini. Quand on est mort, c'est la fin.
C'est la fin de rien.
The atheists generally think that the body is the self
Les hindous pensent généralement que le corps est le soi.
and that everything is therefore ended with the end of the body.
Et donc que tout s'arrête avec la fin de l'autre.
They want to enjoy material life as far as possible
Donc ils veulent profiter au maximum de la vie
during the existence of the body.
durant la durée de l'existence du corps.
It makes sense, doesn't it? If you think that there's only the body,
Quand on pense qu'il y a seulement le corps,
if you think that, well, you want to enjoy it as much as possible.
c'est logique de penser qu'il faut théorie.
It's logical,
C'est-
but it's based on a false premise
Mais c'est basé sur une mauvaise
because we are not the body.
parce qu'on n'est pas le corps.
Okay, Prabhupada says their theory is
Pourquoi il dit que c'est théorie?
as long as you live,
Tant qu'on vit,
you should live prosperously.
on doit vivre de manière prospère.
Never mind whether you commit all kinds of sins.
Sans se préoccuper de savoir qu'on fait toutes sortes de péchés.
You must eat sumptuously.
On doit manger somptueusement,
You beg, borrow, and steal.
on doit
Beg, borrow, and steal. It means somehow or another, yeah. Beg, borrow, and steal. And if you think by stealing and borrowing,
Donc, si on pense qu'en mendiant, en volant,
you are being entangled in sinful activities
en étant pris dans les activités pécheresses
for which you will have to pay,
pour lesquelles on aura payé,
just forget that misconception.
donc il faut oublier cette mauvaise conception.
You just forget that you have to pay because you've been sinful. Just forget that. Because after death, everything is finished.
Ils oublient donc que les activités pécheresses auront à payer parce que pour eux, tout s'arrête après l'activité pécheresse.
No one is responsible for anything he does during this life. This atheistic conception of life is killing human civilization.
Cette conception athéiste tue la civilisation.
For it is without the knowledge of continuation of eternal life. Yeah. So this concept is killing human civilization, this atheism, because there's no knowledge of eternal life. So people are very sinful, thinking it doesn't matter.
Donc les gens sont vraiment pécheurs,
And then when they die, they horrible, everything's all this horrible bad karma.
ils ont tous mauvais karma, finalement.
Or even before they die, people are suffering. Like,
Et souvent, même après leur mort,
so the example is this very cold weather that we're having is because
un hiver très froid,
people are sinful.
parce que les gens font beaucoup d'activités pécheresses.
Prabhupada says that
Pourquoi il dit
bad climate is for the demons. You have a bad climate is because the demons deserve it.
Parce que les entités démoniaques le méritent.
Okay, Andhra Mishra is this kind of ignorance, this atheism, this kind, is due to tamas, this envy.
C'est tamas.
It is the condition. This is so. There's Tamishra, then there's Andhra Mishra, and then there's this tamas. This tamas is the third one. It is the condition of not knowing anything about the soul.
Donc c'est le fait de ne rien savoir sur la
99% of the living entities are ignorant of their identity as soul.
99% des vivants sont ignorants de leur identité en tant qu'âme.
Almost everyone is thinking that he is his body.
Quasiment tout le monde pense qu'il est ce corps.
He has no information of the spirit soul.
Personne n'a l'information sur l'âme.
So, devotees, we know we're not the body,
Nous, on sait, les dévots savent qu'on n'est pas ce corps,
but sometimes it's very difficult to know we are not the mind.
mais parfois c'est difficile de ne pas savoir, de savoir qu'on n'est pas mental.
The devotees can struggle a lot with
Les dévots peuvent lutter durement
their mental
contre leur mental,
adventures on the mental platform.
contre leur mental.
So this is the struggle when we
C'est une grande lutte.
are not we're not liberated, when we are struggling with the modes of nature.
On n'est pas libéré quand
We are struggling with the mind.
on lutte contre les modes de la nature, contre le mental.
So Prabhupada continues to speak about these living entities who have no information of the spirit soul.
pas d'informations sur l'âme spirituelle.
So for such misguided living entities, sex life is a background of material existence.
Complètement perdu, la vie sexuelle est le fond de
The conditioned souls in ignorance in this material world
l'ignorance de ce monde matériel,
are simply guided by sex life.
sont simplement guidés par la vie sexuelle.
And as soon as they get the opportunity for sex life,
Et dès qu'ils ont l'opportunité d'avoir des activités sexuelles,
they become attached to so-called home,
ils deviennent attachés à la maison,
motherland,
à la terre natale,
children,
aux enfants,
wealth,
à la prospérité,
and opulence.
à l'opulence, à la richesse.
Why do people get so attached like
Pourquoi
this?
est-ce que les
Why?
gens sont si attachés
Why?
à ça?
Because it's a pleasure, yes. The soul has to have pleasure. The soul is addicted to pleasure. It's our nature to be happy. So if we don't have knowledge of the soul, we can't have spiritual happiness. So then we're forced to seek this material happiness. But actually the material happiness is an illusion, and it's really a source of distress.
C'est vraiment une source de détresse.
So it's actually a very difficult situation the living entity is in.
Une situation difficile pour les entités vivantes.
He's working to achieve something he thinks is happiness,
Ils travaillent durement pour essayer d'obtenir le
which is going to actually cause him more distress.
qui en fait cause encore plus de détresse.
So that's a very lamentable
C'est
situation.
vraiment une situation lamentable, misérable.
So the process, Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya's process is to liberate us from this gross foolishness. Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda have given us the process to liberate us from the foolish,
Donc il a donné ce processus qui permet de se libérer de ce
to liberate us from the foolishness of this seeking material happiness.
cette folie de chercher le bonheur matériel.
Okay, so the next two,
Les deux prochaines formes d'ignorance,
we talked about three layers, haven't we? We've talked about Timishra, Andatamishra, and Tamas. And now the last two are called Moha
les deux prochaines sont appelées Moha
and Mahamoha.
et Mahamoha.
So, what does Moha mean?
Qu'est-ce que c'est un Moha? Je ne sais pas.
Moha? Illusion.
L'illusion.
It means illusion. So all these attachments to the family and the children and the country and being French, being English, like this. These attachments, they increase the illusion of the bodily concept.
Accroît l'illusion, la conception matérielle de l'existence.
I am the body and everything belonging to this body is mine.
Tout correspond à ce corps. Qui est lié à ce corps.
And the whole world is put into moha.
Tout le monde entier est tourné vers l'illusion.
Sectarian societies,
Les sociétés sectariennes,
their families and nationalities, and they fight with one another.
ils luttent entre eux.
So we see this all the time. People fight,
On voit les gens lutter constamment les uns contre les autres.
whether the individuals or whole groups of people and nations. They're arguing over, basically what they're arguing about is a facility for sense gratification. Okay, and the last one is called Mahamoha. And Prabhupada says it means to be mad after material enjoyment.
Et Prabhupada dit que c'est être fou à la recherche du
Especially, he says, especially in this Kali Yuga,
spécialement dans ce cas-là.
everyone is overwhelmed
Tout le monde est complètement overwhelmed
by the madness to accumulate paraphernalia for material enjoyment.
préoccupation de chercher tout ce qui peut amener du bonheur matériel.
You go to anybody's house and you'll find it's stuffed full of paraphernalia.
Plein de choses qui permettent de satisfaire.
You go to the shops
Ils vont
or you look on the internet, it's this unlimited supply of things for the body, for the mind, for the body, for the maintenance, isn't it? Of furniture and clothes and hundreds of things for your hair and makeup and cars and hundreds of kinds of cars and motorbikes, and then there's books and magazines, and it's just like all kinds of thousands, millions of kinds of food. There's just unlimited things out there, but it's all the body. It's just for the body. It's just for the 5 senses of the body. And the mind who enjoys the senses. And the soul identifies with all this, and this is called Mahamoha. So then Prabhupada just references at the end of the purport, he references the Vishnu Purana. At the end of the purport, Prabhupada references the Vishnu. He quotes a verse from the Vishnu Purana, which describes these 5 kinds of covering on this soul that were created by Brahma. So there you are. This is the truth, the reality. We may like the reality to be different, but it's not. Hare Krishna. So it's time to finish. It's 8:45. Does anybody has any points to make or complaints, question? Otherwise, we just finish there. Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai.